Right, so one of the best books that I've read about productivity and practical advice on how to do more of what matters to us is Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal. Here are 24 ideas in the book that you can do to achieve more in a way that makes you happy and transforms your energy equation. The core idea of the book is that you don't have to be successful to be happy. You have to be happy to be successful. And for that, you have to enjoy the process. But how do you enjoy the process? Number one, you create an adventure. How can the task that you are doing be more adventurous? Maybe it involves putting on a different hat. The hat can be of a collector, a competitor, an explorer, a storyteller, a creator, and so on. Number two is to find the fun. Even if you're doing the most boring of the tasks, ask yourself, what would this look like if it were fun? Maybe it's playing some music in the background, maybe a treat to yourself at the end of the process. Number three, enjoy the process. Focus on the process rather than the end result, because the journey is the destination. You will be spending more time in the process of doing something rather than the end result, and therefore enjoying it is crucially important. Number four is to reframe your failures. We humans inherently tend to focus more on the negative outcomes and negative parts of a situation, and we tend to overlook the positives. No failure is ever just a failure. It's an invitation to try something new. Number five, the confidence switch. Confidence is not something that you're born with, but something you learn. You can challenge yourself to behave confident in a task even though you think that you're not. Ask yourself, what would it look like if I were really confident at this? And it will indeed change your outlook and the way you behave. Number six, the vicarious mastery experience. You're more likely to achieve something if you've seen someone do it before. Being surrounded by people who show persistence and effort in overcoming a challenge can increase your own self-efficacy. It makes you think that you can do it too. Find people who are going through the same thing as you are and spend time with them. If they can, you can too. Number seven, the Protégé Effect. Learning is a lifelong process, and the most effective learning comes when you learn something to teach it. The people who teach someone something are more likely to retain it, and they perform well than the ones who don't learn by teaching. It's possible to be a teacher in any role. You can share your strategies and training with your colleagues, and so on. Number eight, own your mindset. Think of the things that seem unpleasant to you in terms of I choose to, or I get to do this, rather than, I have to do this. If you were doing something you really didn't choose, what can you do to change it to choose to? And more often than not, there are little things that you can do to make an unpleasant thing a little more pleasant by tweaking the environment, the people, or your own outlook. Number nine is the Comrade Mindset. People can be energizers or drainers of your energy. Precipitate around people that resonate with you and work together with them. Instead of thinking that someone has to lose in order for you to win, think that everyone can win together in a teamwork effort. Number 10. Asking help from others. We think that we can do it all, but humans are deeply social creatures. We tend to do better when we are working together. So collaboration on a common task, especially when you feel out of your depth. Having an extra pair of hands slashes the workload by 50%. Number 11, the 5 whys method. Why is a very powerful question. Use it to diagnose problems. If you are struggling with just getting started with something, ask why 5 times. Why are you not starting on that 3D project? Because I don't have the core idea. Why? Because I do not have references. Alright? So collect references and get started. It helps diagnose our fears as well. Number 12. Crystal ball method. Now, to practically take steps to get started on the thing that you're putting off, think as if you are sitting in front of a crystal ball. Then ask these 4 questions. What are the top 3 reasons you did not get to do your work? What can you do to mitigate them? Who to ask for help? what action to take right now. Number 13, time blocking. You ever think that time is always running out and never on your side? You do not have control over your time to spend on things you want to. So if you want to get something done, stick it into your calendar and block out time for it. If you don't do it, it won't happen. You can use Google Calendar to do that because it syncs across all your devices. You don't have to religiously stick to your calendar schedule, but it gives you a snapshot of what you should be spending your time on. Number 14, label your fears. Fears dictate a lot of how we do and perform in our daily life. Fear of public speaking, fear of judgment, fear of failure. Label your fears. When we label our emotions, we become better able to cope with them and release them. Ask yourself, what am I afraid of? Where does this fear come from? Number 15, the spotlight effect. We overestimate the degree to which others notice and judge our actions. Everyone is far too busy in attending their own concerns and conversations. We think that everyone is constantly looking at us and we are in the spotlight. Whereas truly we are not. The truth is that everyone is concerned mostly about themselves. So you can safely put yourself out into the world. Number 16, the Batman effect. When you are in a situation that is really not your forte, develop an alter ego. Go into the Batman mode or your favorite superhero. Think of what an alternate, more confident and resourceful version of you would do. These alter egos are remarkably effective. Number 17, the 5-minute rule. This is one of my favorites. Newton's first law applies to human states as well. We want to continue the state that we are currently in. When we are resting, we want to keep resting. So changing that state is often the most challenging part of the task. So what you can do is to work on the task for just 5 minutes. During those 5 minutes, you solely focus on the task at hand. When the 5 minutes are up, then you can decide if you want to continue working or not. 80% of times you keep going, and then you can play something in the background to make it more fun. If you actually don't enjoy it, then stop doing it after 5 minutes and you can do it at a later time. Number 18, take action. Every mental model is futile if you do not take action. So once you plan out your goals and remove the obstacles, it's time to take action. What are the tasks that you will do right now in order to achieve these goals? One thing I found common in people who are high achievers is that they don't keep planning things. They go out and they just actually do it. Number 19, forgive yourself. If you do not achieve what you set out for, do not beat yourself up about it. When we are failing to maintain the momentum on a task, we tend to beat ourselves up. Take a break and recharge. Cherish the small wins. Think, I could not do X, but I did certainly do Y. Number 20, the power of saying no. Commonly, we find it hard to say no to people because of the fear of social rejection. But learning to say no is one of the most important things. So how can we reject the offers that we don't have time for? We put it through the hell yeah or no test. When something is put forward to you and it makes your creative brains running and you utter hell yeah, then you should take it on. If it's not a hell yeah, then it's not worth doing. Number 21, breaks. Breaks in your daily routine are really important. Breaks to just do nothing, breaks to just sleep or nap. Unless you take a break, you are going to lose focus. Take 15 minutes out every 4 hours. The harder you work, the more exerted you become and the more breaks you will need. Number 22, doom scrolling. We think that we are resting and recharging when we are scrolling through reels and social media. But before you know it, you end up in a mix of emotions and get sucked in an endless vortex. First victim is our mood. By the end of it, it does not feel like rest at all. So avoid doom scrolling. Number 23, bring in nature. The relationship of humans with nature is as old as time. Before the information age, humans used to be very outgoing people and thriving in the nature. It's important to take walks out in the woods. If you cannot, then integrating a green space in your home can help. Even listening to rainforest sounds helps. Indoor plants, even artificial plants or pictures of them help alleviate the mood and decrease stress levels. And finally, number 24, the Odyssey Plan. This is a way to design your life. What do you want your life to look like in 5 years' time? To do that, ask 3 questions. What would your life look like 5 years from now if you were to continue with the current path that you are going? Then, what would your life look like 5 years from now if you took an alternative path? And then, what would your life look like 5 years from now if you took a radically different path, not taking care of what people think and your social circumstances? The Odyssey Plan gives you more clarity on the way you want to spend your life by thinking in terms of your future self. So conclusively, we should be enjoying the process, finding ways to transform your work from an energy drainer to a source of energy. Not striving for perfection, but what works. Learn from failures and celebrate success. With that, I hope you gathered a thing or two. Like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Farewell.